It is another delicious day here in the Let's Make Food from Food Kitchen, and today I'm going to start the process to make sauerkraut. Why do I say start? Well, it takes a good 2 to 5 weeks to ferment, so I will start it today and then come back in 2 weeks and check it, and if it's not ready, I'll check it in another week and keep going. So for today, I have a small cabbage because I don't need a lot, and I've already removed the core and the outer leaves, got it cleaned up and ready to go for you. The next thing you need to do, and you do need a scale for this, please have one, they're not that expensive. You're going to turn your scale on, zero it out in grams, weigh your cabbage. This one is 722 grams. Then you're going to take 722 and times it by 2%. That will give you 14.44, which will be the grams of salt that you use. Now let's talk about salt for a second. Use a non-iodized, caking agent-free salt. So the only ingredient that should be listed on your container is salt. So it should not say anti-caking agent, cellulose, anything like that. And it needs to not be iodized. So I'm using pink Himalayan salt today. I've already pre-measured it. I got on top of it today so you didn't have to watch me go through all the humdrum of the prep. I don't know if you guys like that or don't like that. I mean, sometimes for me it seems like it's self-explanatory, but I guess if you've never done it before, maybe it's not. So let me know what you think. Do you appreciate it, or is it like, why are you doing that? I'm bored. Click. Please don't be bored. Okay, so I'm going to cut my cabbage into sections, and you can slice this by hand, or you can use a mandolin slicer. The one thing you want to try and do is go thin on this. I'm going to set this at 2 millimeters, and I will cut some of it and show you what that looks like. I'm going to see if I can do this right into the bowl. I think I did this once before and it worked out pretty well, but it was a different bowl, so maybe it'll balance. So what I want to do is just take my cabbage and start slicing it through the mandolin, okay? Don't worry about if it separates yet, because we'll get there. Now I'm going to take this on here so I don't cut myself. For me, this is the fastest way to do it. The mandolin is just a nice handy tool that is unnecessary but helpful. So if you don't have one, just slice it by hand super thin. It's pretty simple to do. So if you want to see the method of that, ooh, I'm just losing my cabbage all over the place. I'm trying to keep all of my cabbage together because this is by weight. So here's what I've got in my cabbage, right? It's pretty thin. So I'm going to try and replicate that and see if I can get it thin enough with my knife. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start slicing very carefully to get that same type of thickness. Okay, so I think it's going pretty well so far. I might actually be getting it thinner than the mandolin. But I have it set at 2 and not 1, which is fine. I don't want it to completely disintegrate. And it takes you, this whole thing will take you maybe 20-25 minutes. Ooh, that one was a little thicker. Let me see if I can shave that some. Watch your fingers. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slice the rest of this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, my slicing and dicing is done. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pick through here and make sure I got all the little pieces into actual little pieces, because sometimes with the mandolin slicer, it'll get down to the end and do a thick piece, which you can either leave or you can break it up. Now, the next thing I need to do is put my salt in and mix it up. Okay, this is literally the only 2 ingredients that you need for the whole thing, salt and cabbage. So then you start doing this. And you do this, you can also use your hands. And what you're doing is releasing the water from the cabbage. Okay, and right now it doesn't really seem like I'm doing very much, but after, you know, like 5 minutes, you're gonna start to see some water in this bowl. So the other thing you can do is take it by hand and squeeze it, okay? And just keep doing it this way. If you don't have a muddler or a damper, this is how you can do it, okay? So just keep up with that for, I'm gonna say 10 minutes, but I'm gonna check in with you guys in 5 so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I rinsed my hands, turned the camera back on. I wanted to show you where we're at. This is kind of what we're getting to see, all this liquid that's coming out of here. I'm gonna tip the bowl a little bit. That is all from squeezing the cabbage, and the salt helps facilitate that as well. So we're not done though, we gotta keep going. We need at least double that if we can get it. And your cabbage consistency is obviously going to change. It sounds squeaky. So keep going, don't give up, and then we'll be ready to move on. As you can see, I've already set out some containers. These are different options on storing and fermenting your sauerkraut. So I'll see you back here in about another 5 minutes. For me, about 2 seconds for you. Okay, we are just about done with this. There is a lot of, here, I'll use both hands because that's where we're at. We've got a lot of liquid going in here. So let's talk about, while I finish this up a few more minutes, the different options for your fermentation time. So I have a clear jar, fermentation weights, and a fermentation lid, which is a one-way valve to let the gas out, but it doesn't let air in. That's key. You don't want to let air in, but you want to let the gases out. As it ferments, it will build up in your container, so you can't put an airtight lid on there. It will explode, and exploding's bad. The other thing I have here, this is a sauerkraut. Got my hands all dirty. This is a sauerkraut. It comes with this lid and these 2 fermentation weights. That one, it has a vessel for water. The downside to that is you do have to check it every day and make sure that water stays in there, because that is what keeps the air from getting in. But the pressure builds up under that lid and it'll bubble out the gases through the water. So that's how that one-way system works. Either way, you need the one-way system. So you just need to decide what you have. If you don't have, I think that sauerkraut was like $45. So it is an expensive tool to have, though it is nice because it doesn't let sunlight in. That's one of the other things. You have to have this in a dark place, okay? So I'm gonna get a funnel, and I think this will all fit in my jar. I think we're gonna use the jar this time, and we'll use the sauerkraut for another time, I think. So let me rinse my hands and find my funnel. So one of the things you want to do is make sure you've washed everything really well. I've washed my weights, my lids, and all of that. This is that lid I was talking about. It's kind of a silicone, rubbery, but it has a slit in the top that allows that gas to escape. So you use that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our sauerkraut in. I guess it's still cabbage at this point. It's not sauerkraut yet. Okay, so I'm gonna let all of my liquid go into the jar. Okay. Next, I am going to push all of this in here, and I want to shove this down to the bottom of the jar, and I'm going to make sure that there's no pieces of cabbage hanging out above the liquid line. That is super important because anything above the liquid line can mold, okay? And there are molds that you might see develop on this which are safe, and there are molds that are not safe. So when we come to the follow-up, we'll talk about that, because you might see some on there. Some of it's pink and some of it's white, and you don't want to mess with it. So one of them anyway. So we're going to tamper this down as much as possible. What we want is the liquid to completely submerge our sauerkraut. And if you didn't happen to get enough, and mine's just barely, so what I'm going to do is add a couple of tablespoons of filtered water to this to top it off. I was hoping I wouldn't need to do that. I probably could have kept squeezing for a while, but I didn't. And just put some in there. I just need enough to keep everything submerged. Now, as this goes, you might see some white foam on top. That is totally normal. Mold is not normal. and neither is any pink, like any pink looking stuff. Your batch has gone if you see the pink stuff or any mold. So now the next thing I want to do, I've left some room in there because I need room for my fermentation weight. I got this as a 4-pack. I think it was about $20. This keeps your food submerged below the water line. Okay, so make sure you've washed that as well. And that is ready to go. I'm just pushing it down. I want all of my food down. So I'm just checking. There's a couple little pieces around my rim. I'm gonna get out of there because I don't want that to start developing mold, okay? So there we go. The last thing I wanna do is put my gasket, fermentation gasket on there, and then I am going to twist my lid on, and then I need to set a reminder for 2 weeks. I'm going to check this in 2 weeks. I'm going to take off the lid. I am going to smell it. I'm going to look at it and make sure there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. And if everything looks good, then I'm going to taste it and see, is the texture, consistency the way I want it? Has it fermented enough for my taste? If the answer is yes, then we're good to use it. If the answer is no, then we're gonna put the lid back on, and you can check it in another week. You can check it if you think it's close in a couple of days. So set a reminder to check it 2 weeks in your calendar. Put a label on here. I usually use masking tape, and I'll see you back here. For me, I'm gonna do 2 weeks and check it and pop in with you guys and see how we're doing. Hello, you beautiful people, you. It's been 3 weeks. I checked it at 2 weeks and I wanted a little bit more flavor development. So I put the lid back on and put it right back in my cabinet, because don't forget, it needs to be stored in a dark place, okay? So now what I wanna do is take out my weight, and it can be a minute to get it out of there. I'm gonna get rid of this so I don't get it all over my cutting board. What you wanna do is check it again, make sure there's no pink or gray or anything like that. The white foam is okay. This is what it looks like right now. Oh, that's really good. Now at this point, I think it's ready to use. If you like a super sour flavor, put it back in. I'm happy with this. So I don't know why I put this lid back on. I'm gonna get a solid lid and put it in the fridge. Once you're done with your flavor profile and happy with where it's at, put a solid lid on, stick it in the fridge, and that's where you'll store it as you use through it. Okay, so that's basically it. Easy to do, delicious, healthy. Let's do this thing. Okay, so I can't remember if I mentioned this 3 weeks ago because I'm tired and I have a lot going on. I made this sauerkraut because I'm gonna make a Reuben. So keep an eye out for that video. It'll be down, I don't know, a couple weeks, I think, because I still have to make Thousand Island dressing. I still have to make the rye bread, but we've already made the corned beef because I made it a few weeks ago. See how all this ties together sometimes? There is a method to my insane madness. Thanks for joining me here today, and let's make food from Food Kitchen. From my kitchen to yours, let's make food from food.
That's one board.